What vote by protest actually means. Do you know what it means?
I know what it means, but anyway. Do you want to say it, Sibia?
How's Sibia?
It started. Sibia is doing very well.
That's
okay. Well, it's the Frontline. A very good evening and welcome. My name is Simon Kagwanjala, and well, you all understand that the clock is ticking towards 2026, and much of the spotlight has been on whether it will be business as usual or it's likely to be an election like no other. The dynamics seem to be changing. There's been an apparent shift in the stance of the opposition leadership. The main opposition currently, the National Unity Platform, had, through their party principle, indicated in the aftermath of the 2021 elections that elections were worthless. Having gone through that very turbulent election, that very contested election, the president of the National Unity Platform, Robert Kyagulanyi, came out and said it would be foolhardy to woo voters into the 2026 election. Now, he made a U-turn. He said he's going into 2026 election on a protest vote. It's one of the things that we want to interrogate tonight. Will the protest vote change or influence the trajectory of elections in the country come 2026? And how will it be like? That and more of such questions will be posed during the show. Honorable Ibrahim Semujunganda, he is a panelist, he's a frontliner. Thank you for joining us and a very good evening.
You're welcome, Simon. Good evening to
Honorable Lydia Wanyoto, Chairperson, National Women's League. Thank you for joining us and a very good evening.
Thank you for hosting me and for the invitation. Good evening to our listeners and the viewers, and I'm happy to be back to the Frontline.
Well, the celebrated frontliner. Lately you've been punching below the belt. Good to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunger.
No, Njala.
Njala is hunger.
Okay, good. Well, we're also joined by the Deputy President of the National Unity Platform, Honorable MUWANGA, Member of Parliament, Butambala County. Good to have you and a very good evening.
Good to be here and to our viewers.
Plus, the man with his own diction, Honorable Fred Mukasa Mbide, joins us, but he will be greeting us in a few. I'll start with you, Honorable MUWANGA. What is this protest vote that you're peddling as National Unity Platform?
It is what it is.
What is a protest vote?
We all know that we don't have a level playing political field. For the last 4 years, the NRM government, led by General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, deliberately has worked so hard to ensure that political parties do not deepen and strengthen their reach in the countryside. It has been very hard for any political formation in Uganda opposed to government to reach the grassroots. The last 4 years we've witnessed massive arrests, massive imprisonment. Every political player of some sort is on a court bail or is on a court bond. And I don't think there's anyone here who is not. Sometimes the system even forgets that someone is on a bond and they just let you be. So I don't know, Honorable Semujo is, I think he's on a police bond. You have one more court. So
one was dismissed by court.
Yes.
We have another one pending.
Yes. Every key player in this country of some sort, even every journalist, is either nursing an injury or a broken body part or a warning. Every media house is grossly intimidated. So all organs of the state, especially the coercive organs of the state, have taken a political stance and they've chosen to take sides. Therefore, that sets the tone of the election. So you are not going to behave normally in an abnormal situation. If you do so, those who know English very well say you are abnormal yourself. If you behave normally in an abnormal situation, you are abnormal yourself. So it's on that background, and then you have a choice. If the ground is so uneven, why would you participate in an election to legitimize a regime? And others will say, give up, surrender, be indifferent, be cynical. But that's what the regime wants. So for us, every election is an opportunity to extend the frontier, to make one more case that you are not having a democracy, that you are living in a dictatorship. Yes, you can make it inevitable and overwhelm a system. And it is possible, because I don't think NRM government today enjoys the popular support in the country. If they did, they wouldn't be using coercion. They wouldn't be deploying the military. So for me, that behavior is a victory on our side and an admission on the part of NRM that psychologically they are convinced. They are no longer enjoying the love of the people. They are no longer loved. They know they are hated, and they should have gone yesterday. But if
okay, do you want to suggest it was not strategic of your principal to announce in 2021 that it's worthless to participate into an election?
I need to get to the quote you are quoting. You need to put him there, and I see the quote you are. Those are your words.
He did?
No. You have the history. You put the statement there.
I will.
Yeah, you will. So, but of course, a wise man changes in any case. You are dealing with you are in a struggle against the dictatorship. There are no fixed solutions or answers to any situation. You must be able to change as the situation changes. So even if he said so, remember he had come out of a bitter election. You know what that election meant? He's a human being. He could have felt, oh, wait a minute, is this worthwhile? He has a family, he has children to go to. He had been through a hard situation. So in the heat of the moment, he could have made a statement of that kind of, if it is true. But on a reflection, he also leads a political party. It's not about his own ideas alone that you one day stand up and say, you know, I'm boycotting. He also has now, as the leading political party, to be the vanguard party for change in Uganda.
So is this an official position of the party?
So what I'm saying, he may even have feelings of his own, but at the end of the day, he is shouldering a responsibility not only for the National Unity Platform. Today, NUP is the leading official position in Uganda. So he doesn't take a personal position. It's not about his feeling. The whole party organ can take a contrary position, and as the party president is obliged to play ball.
Thank you very much. Do you get tremors when Kyagulanyi announces that this time it's a vote by protest?
No. NRM doesn't have the history of being panicky. We are steady. We are firm. It's okay for MUWANGA KIVUMBI and this group to do hyperbole. That's okay. But remember our recent history. The previous leading opposition party, what did they say? Since 2006, 2011, 2015, defiance, civil disobedience. Where did you take them? If they choose to take that route and even exceed what FDC did, we shall meet in the courtroom of public opinion.
Yeah, but remember, this is a party that gave you a run for your money in 2021 elections.
Are you saying FDC didn't give us a run for our money? At the time, FDC also gave us a run for our money. But what was the net result at the end of it? 3, the Basoga, we have a saying, Amatoke Masu. that hot bananas, especially if it is katogo, you handle it with the fresh banana leaves. So if they try to be hot banana, hot katogo, there's the NRM and the government of Uganda has sufficient fresh leaves to handle that hot katogo, which means we shall be able to eat that hot katogo that NOP may try to serve.
Okay, do you have a clear understanding? Okay, fine.
4, he says, yes, there are mistakes that different players make. Sometimes it's part officials of NRM, sometimes it's ordinary supporters, sometimes the candidates, quite often government people, especially the one he has cited, law enforcement officers, either who are acting on wrong intelligence, command and control on operation matters are weak, and therefore mistakes are made and repeated in another election, another by-election, another engagement, maybe public rally of opposition and so on. But that notwithstanding, Afrobarometer, who you know very well, have just released the report. All of us know that Afrobarometer group is a credible group, which shows on a number of things that NRM is the most popular. Let alone the fact that we have won elections, we have won by-elections, we have also won public policy positions that majority of Ugandans support our policy positions on a number of things, even when they are controversial. So when Honorable MUWANGA KIVUMBI says we are not popular, that's his word. We shall not argue with it. But there are studies, including the one I'm quoting first, Afrobarometer. They have just released.
Is it the one for Akida?
Afrobarometer has just, you made the point.
No, Wakida's is research world.
Yes, you made your contribution. We listen to you. Don't froth. Listen to me. You will respond later. Now the data Afrobarometer, I just want to give 3 things it has highlighted. 1, that 70% of Ugandans say they believe in the current political trend and democracy. You can go and read that report by yourself. 2, they say NRM is the most popular party among the political parties in the country. 3, they are saying the popularity of President Museveni, who has been in power for 39 years now, if elections were held yesterday, according to that poll, he would take 56%. 4, it says the least trusted groups or entities in the country is opposition political groups. This report is available. Yes, this report.
Seriously missed
it.
Yeah.
This report is report.
I've not seen it at least.
I am telling you, this report is available by Afrobarometer.
When was it released?
You can Google. It was done this week. It was done this, but it is a research.
Is it out?
Yes, it is a research conducted last October, November. Their sample was 2,600. But you can Google anyway, probably not now, but after, to enrich. But this is their finding. They may be wrong in some aspects, but I want to believe, because this is the 12th opinion survey this Afrobarometer has done since coming to Uganda. Now, I am persuaded by their findings, even where they fault NRM or the government. I am persuaded by majority of their findings. And so, the NRM and the government is open to discussions on areas of concern.
Okay, you are aware there is a looming shutdown now that...
No, but I've told you, historically we have never had an election in the last 25 years since the 20 years of multi-party politics, or even before that, that we have never had a showdown or people threatening. You remember the Constituency Assembly election, or even before that, the expansion of NRSC, where UPC was the bravado. They said they will not participate. Then Milton Obote issued a dictum from Lusaka and said no UPC person should participate in CA election. And if you participate, I will expel you. And indeed, he expelled the Sicilo Guards. You remember? So we have had a showdown. Then we had the IPFC of Semogrere. We had reform agenda, where Mr. Besige said he's the one who knew NRM inside out and was going to pulverize NRM. You know how that contest ended. And so the threats by, verbal threats by MUWANGA KIVUMBI
as I move to video,
has been a protest politician from the day he entered national politics, from Makerere University as the DP, UYD, Uganda Young Democrats. You remember he was the one, he was among those leading popular resistance against...
I'll certainly come back to you.
Popular resistance against third term. You remember?
Against life presidency.
Ask him how that contest between his group and us ended. So we are used to MUWANGA KIVUMBI. We shall handle him.
Well, Honorable Mbide, thank you for joining us. OO seems to look at this as mere empty rhetoric on a different day. Do you feel aroused by the mere slogan or the mantra of vote by protest?
Now, first of all, I can tell you, I think let us agree on this show that we are going to adopt a working definition of protest vote or vote by protest. Because when you look at what it means, it is a resignation. It is a boycott of an election. Yes, that's what it implies. A protest vote, incidentally, is conducted in a multiplicity of manners. Either you tick the ballot uncommitted, you tick the ballot by way of a nullity, in the protest, in a firm belief that actually even voting itself is wasteful. We have had experiences probably in the United States. There was a time when in Michigan, persons warned the Democrats that here we are going to mark all our ballots uncommitted. Why? Because they were angered by a few things that were ongoing, and to the extent that the Democrats then would lose that election. In our precincts here, I don't think that is what the leaders of NUP would want to imply.
Do you find it vague?
I do not find it applicable to what they actually intended to do. In my opinion, I think what they intended to imply is that there is going to be a shutdown, like you were saying. Now, a shutdown cannot be achieved by you marking wrongly a ballot. That would be a logical impossibility. So, in my opinion, we will adopt a working definition and description of what actually they mean, to the extent that we shall now progressively analyze what actually they intended to mean. Number two, I have heard our brother OO alluding to the Afrobarometer survey. I would like to tell you, to give you this information, that survey, juxtaposed with the Ibrahim Mo survey, which are also international surveys, That survey is to the extent that, first of all, it was conducted in an area where there has been conducted no civic education. So the basis of the answers to that survey is ignorance. So we are dealing with the population with the lowest political maturity on the political maturity thermometer, to the extent that all of those answers that we are given could sound correct but wrong, because those that answered such actually based on ignorance. You see, they say...
So you want to dismiss the survey even before reading anything
that
about
survey
it?
is not indicative. First of all, when you look at, for example, what there is a University of Yale professor who came up with the proper proposal, hundreds of years ago, by the way, proposals and analysis on a free and fair election, where you would base, for example, analysis to indicate that the Afrobarometer survey is a logical possibility. That was, I think that was Professor Robert Doe of the University of Yale. He gave clear guidelines. One, that for you to assess an election as free and fair, there must be independence of the management of that election. So the managers of the election should be independent. Ours are a system of puppetry, perpetuated from top to bottom. Number two, that there must be civic education. There should be substantive knowledge of why even the voter is voting. Here people are even thanking government for construction of a road. So the roads we have in Uganda, government can be thanked. But people do not know that once roads are constructed, we must now assess them in terms of the road quality index. Now that one, nobody talks about it. Everybody will talk of road connectivity without the quality index, the indices. So that means we don't have the civic education that can arrive at proper answers to questions by the Afrobarometer survey. We have had close to we were supposed to have 17 elections last year in Africa. We held, I think, 13, because 5 of them were postponed due to problems. Others, coups d'etat, the one of South Sudan, others. But of those, it is also notable that about 5 elections, we had new leaders. In Africa, majorly opposition. One election in South Africa, the incumbent party was humbled. It could no longer now do the pontification of holding the mantle of South Africa without merging with another party. So it was humbled in that election. So all needs to go back and look at what the survey says about those elections. It was because the existing state of affairs in the countries where we have had changes in terms of election management are to the extent, one, when you look at Namibia, for example, electoral commission is formed by judges. You look at Mozambique, electoral commission is formed by parliament. You look at Ghana, there is a fair establishment of the electoral commission. And the brigades that were established, like Veranda Boys, were banned. So government, there is some freedom and fairness of elections. Now this is a contradiction. In Uganda, when you say that you want to do a protest vote, for me it means probably you don't even want to attend to such elections.
So do you want to subscribe to the idea of a protest vote, or you find it redundant?
In terms of what it means, no. But in terms of a working definition that we want here, I would subscribe. Now, the working definition that we need to adopt here is that intent is to give a showdown, not the literal meaning. Because the literal meaning is a rejection, and for me, I don't believe in boycott. Because even if you are in doubt, at least you should look intelligent. For me, that's what I believe. We cannot boycott. But we can cause a state of ungovernability. For example, even during and after elections. And that now takes a concerted effort of all of us.
Thank you. Honorable Lydia, you've participated in elections and you've been around and seen a number of elections. Do you think a vote by protest would change the dynamics of elections in Uganda?
Maybe I should begin by saying maybe we will cross the bridge let the protests ensue and then we see the definition in practical terms. But from what my big brother Oo gave you examples of the past, even our 1994 constitution, when it was being promulgated, there are people who protested and they said they would not sign, but they have the protest did not live another year. They joined government. They became big people. I think we also have, we should always look at our history. There are those moments of passion and emotions, which I think Honorable Kivumbi said, people can get angry and talk, but then have reflections. Because we have a country to lead, we have a contribution to make, and we cannot, we should not hold so much on what someone has said 3-4 years ago, and maybe they've had reflections and there's a window to contribute. So I've just given you an example. We are still running the 1995 constitution, even when it's amended. At the time when people who are in CA refused to sign, if they had remained with that, they would have been left government or politics or parliament and would have lost out on their contribution. Some of them contributed until when their best breath came to an end.
Yeah, but given this current sentiment on the ground,
let it come.
Do you think it makes a protest vote fertile?
The way we know the protest vote is either to boycott, you don't participate, or to make it very difficult for an election to happen. And I'm saying, let it come. Where I sit as the NRM party, we are ready for the general election. We are going to participate. We are not going to protest. If you have people who are protesting the way we know protests, we will meet. We will meet because the roadmap is out.
Before I take on Honorable Semujunganda, Honorable MUWANGA Kivumbi, what's the end in mind?
First of all, let me clarify. In a world where the army goes out and beats voters in the way it did, don't also trust that intelligence can manipulate these surveys. And you study the history of those who have been conducting surveys, where they've ended up. Deep state. So don't trust those surveys. 2, there is a sea of difference between data findings and data presentation. For example, he's telling you that President Yoweri Museveni will win by 60%. But he's forgetting that the leading candidate, no, wait a minute, wait a minute.
No, don't misrepresent me.
Wait a minute.
No, you didn't listen, I said 56, that's what the survey says.
Yes, that's what I'm quoting you.
No,
wait, in the last election,
listen properly,
the leading opposition candidate, who was Bobi Wine of National Unity Platform, got 34.
Yes.
Now, if president would win by 44, opposition has grown to 44. So, but the one presenting data will not show you that the opposition has grown to 44. He will show you president will win by 56. What about the other way around? So you study the mind of people who present data. Now, the way it was presented, it is the other way around. Actually, it will, if that Afrobarometer is to be believed, then the opposition should celebrate that it has now gone to 44%.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll certainly get back to you. Honorable Semuju Ibrahim Nganda, you participated in the defiance vote by defiance. And here we are now going for vote by protest. Is it just a change of semantics?
Tomorrow, Dr. Westje will be in Nakawa. The government has filed an application. They want to use his phones to correct evidence.